And we are back. Yeah. And this one I go wait because this is actually getting interesting. We are still on the eye of wisdom, um, a knowledge that becomes a wisdom of understanding. That's what the eye of wisdom is about. It's like a safe space, as I said before. And so we still get the topic on the Nigerian people and what governs their history. Like we're talking about describing Nigeria and what the nation represents. Now, whenever I see Nigeria, if I'm being honest, I see an independent woman, a beautiful woman, strong, beautiful woman who is independent on the outside, but she's dependent on the inside. Now, I'm going to tell us a very short story. Now, I remember when I was in school, I had a friend who was a prostitute. That was like a job because she told me that she was independent, that she's not dependent on her parents for money or how to survive, how to feed and stuff like that. But then again, I realized that she was actually receiving money from her parents, upkeep, and her parents were actually paying her fees in school. And so, and I asked her what is her like, how does she survive? She says she works for a man who owns the hotel, and so when she receives clients, the man would, or perhaps she would, pay the man a small token for the house rent because she's staying in a hotel. It's not free. I know she's actually paying the man. And then I was wondering because she said she was independent, but I was like, I don't really get it. Please, for those of us who are, listening, and please share me your thoughts. Like, tell me what you think. Because is she really independent or is she dependent? Because she's receiving money because she needs clients. She's living in someone's house. She's paying rent. She's so I don't really understand. So share me your thought, please, on how you see this story. Because for me, I believe that she's just deceiving herself, just like Nigerians are. Because on the surface, like when you look at us, we are so independent, but on the inside, we are just dependent on so many things. Like we cannot really make our own thing. You know, it's strange, right? Okay. But I just want to make this clear for those of us who are listening, please. When I interpret this, I'm not interpreting based on the physical part. It's it's a spiritual and a physical interpretation. And so please, we just need to understand this so we are not going to lose God. Like I said, it's the eye of wisdom. You know, that's the name of the program. So Moku no go lose God. Yes. So let's go to the next point. Now I'm going to explain to us how we see or how I see Nigeria in a spiritual interpretation. And now, for us to understand better how or what Nigeria represents or who they are, please let's go to the book of Genesis. I think, yeah, yes, the book of Genesis, chapter 1. I think I have my Bible here. Yeah, I'm just going to go through it. Yes, Genesis chapter 1, verses 2 to 3. Yeah, I think I have my Bible here. Please, you guys should hold on. Okay, yes, I've seen it. Genesis chapter 1, verses 2 to 3. Okay, yes. Now we can go through it now. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Now this like it's like the eye of wisdom is trying to describe what Nigeria is now or what it represents. Now look at now Nigeria was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. Incredible. Now this is what we represent. You know, the darkness was over the surface of the deep. Now we are not just struggling with spiritual darkness, we are also struggling with physical darkness. It's like the spiritual darkness is affecting us physically. I don't know if I'm making sense. Now, like I said, it's the eye of wisdom, so it has nothing to do with me. Like I'm going through the Bible, seeing how what we represent. Now, the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Now, imagine now if the Spirit of God is hovering around Nigeria, where would God hover around? Now, listen. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Now, I want to ask us, please, if God wants to shine His light on us in Nigeria, who is He going to use? What infrastructure? What organization? Who is He going to use? Because where is that purity? Where is that righteousness? You know, who would God shine His light on? Now, for instance, let's say to ourselves, would God shine His light on Peter Obi? Who knows? Maybe He might shine His light on Peter Obi so that He can take us to the promised land. And so this passage in the Bible best describe what Nigeria is. The emptiness, and you understand the form, like it's formless and it's empty. It's like we are not passionate about anything. It's like we just don't want to do anything. It's like there's just so much negativity, all around. And that's what this passage is trying to tell us, you know, that we need to change our narrative. We need to do something different. Yes. And so that we now that we have talked about the spiritual interpretation, let's move on to the next point. Now, before we go further, let me try to explain it something so we're going to understand. Now, there is so much void in our nation, and we don't really know where to go because everyone is just distracted and we're all confused. But the thing is that we can change if we really want to change, you know. And so that's what the AI wisdom is trying to let us know. And so as we go further, we understand more about the issues in Nigeria. And now we are still on the Nigerian people and what governs their history. Now, I said something the other time I was speaking to someone. I said to him, imagine that we have three different major tribes in Nigeria. And I said to the young man, because he was a Hausa man, I said to him, um, in order for you to build a nation, you need three sense of what? Of reasoning. Because I was trying to explain to him. And then I said to him, there is one we call an idealist, a thinker, and a doer. I said to him now each tribe, we are going to allocate a category for each tribe so that we can be able to, you understand, push and make a change. And I said to him, when you look at an Hausa man, what comes to your mind? Idealist. If you look at the Yoruba man, what comes to your mind? A thinker. If you look at an Igbo man, what comes to your mind? A doer. And now in Nigeria, what do we truly need? Do we need an idealist? Do we need a thinker? Or do we need a doer? Please, for those of us who are listening, you can share your own thoughts to us, well, because I believe that right now we need a doer. Because we have been with an idealist, it didn't work. We have been with a thinker, but I think right now we need a doer. And I believe that if we can put a doer, that will be the change that we need in our nation. And so before we go further, I think we have to take a short break so we can recess our mind. And so please, we need to meditate on this. We need to also share our thoughts. You need to also comment and tell me your thoughts, what you feel about what I just said. And we are going to be right back. Thank you.